Hi everyone, and welcome back to Happily a Homeschool Mom. Today's video is going to be predominantly a planner video for the dates of March 19th through the 23rd, 2018. Also in this video, I'm going to explain why I took down the last video. And I'm going to tell you about what I want this channel to be predominantly about. So first of all, I'm going to talk to you about why I took down the last video. After watching the video, I kind of thought that it was a little bit all over the place, and so I didn't like how I switched gears too many times. I thought it was not very concise as it could be, not as concise as it could be. And another reason why is because I think I got a little too personal about our story and about our children. And that's not what I want this channel to be about. I want it more to be about how you can make your homeschool work and different tips and tricks that make homeschooling fun. And also I want it to be about how you can plan your homeschool day or your homeschool weeks and months and years in a organized fashion, and just basic organization of homeschool records, grades, answer booklets, those kind of things. Lots of games. We try to make our homeschool fun for the kids, so it's not all study and work all the time. I want to talk to you about how we use Charlotte Mason in our homeschool. So there's a lot of things that I want this channel to be, but I definitely don't want it to be all about what my children struggle with and what their grades are, or anything that's too personal, that's not or what they're behind in, or anything like that. I don't want any of that, because I think that those things are private, and I think that they're not mine to tell. I think that my kids are old enough that they can make that decision for themselves if they want to share information. And so I just don't want, even though I do have a child that does have some special needs, I don't want that to be the focus of my channel, if that makes any sense. So back to planning. I wanted to show you how I evolve one week into the next, and how I decorate my planner week to week. I'm very much a seasonal girl, and so I like my planner to reflect that. If you're not, and you're more into just general record keeping without any decoration, that's fine. There's still going to be helpful information for you in this video. I do like washi tape, seasonal washi tape. The Dollar Tree has some of the best seasonal washi tape if you're into washi tape. These little bitty stickers come from 365 Happy Planner, and you can get those for a few bucks at Tuesday Morning. That's where I usually get them from. You can get an entire pad of them for a few dollars. So, and I like the inspirational stickers are also 365, and I just put them on just to remind me of different things, and just they just kind of inspire me to work hard throughout the week. So this one says, "Go the extra mile, it's never crowded." which I thought was very fitting for this week. And then life is tough, but so are you. Sometimes we get discouraged as homeschool moms, and sometimes we just need those reminders that are like, okay, it's tough, but you know, you're tough too, and you can do it. You can make it through. So, the first thing I do when planning my week is I look and see if there are any appointments, and we do have an appointment on Friday at 2 o'clock. So I know that I need to leave home by 1 p.m. because it's an hour away. So I mark that on our calendar first. And then I decorate. As you can see, I decorate the whole planner the way that I want it to. I either stamp. I have a stamp set that I stamp the date on the planner because this is an undated planner. Or I also have some little stickers as well. A lot of the different stationery companies carry just little date stickers, so you can do that as well. So I'm going to do some planning, but I am going to stop this video and then I'm going to pick right back up because I want to show you, first of all, well, maybe I can just continue into this week and just let you know what we completed out of our week. So as we go through the week, I cross off all the stuff that we did. So today is Friday and we finished up and we accomplished a lot, but there were a few things that we didn't get to. And I'm going to tell you what we do when we don't get to everything. So we kept on up on our Oceans of Truth book about Isaac Newton. We read it every single day. So we're all caught up with that. For Bible copy work and memorization, we didn't do it today. We didn't do it today, and we didn't do it Tuesday, but we did do it Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So if I do something, I will cross it and mark that we did it, and then if we didn't do it, I just circle it. So our Christian maturity book, we did every single day except for Tuesday. And today we didn't go through it only because we're at the end of the chapter where there are questions that the kids need to work on themselves. So we're going to do that Monday. They did finish their colonies reports. They're all done with all the colonies, the reports on all the colonies. So they did finish that. We didn't do it on Monday, but we did do it on Wednesday and Friday. King and Country, I just wanted to finish chapter 1 because it was a really long chapter, and we did that. We didn't read on Monday and Tuesday, but we did read on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We did do the Lotteria game. We completed that. We did spelling pretest, spelling work, and spelling test. And then we did all the seasonal work that I wanted to accomplish for St. Patrick's Day. All that we got done, all the English work that we were going to do. We got to some of the March journal. We did a March journal on Thursday and Friday. We didn't get to it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but that's okay because we have a couple more weeks of March left. For math, we got all of our math done every day. Ethan didn't get to his cursive on Tuesday. So he did his cursive on Tuesday, did not do it on Monday or Wednesday. He did do it on Thursday, and he did do it today. They did read their reading books every day. And let's see, and Ethan completed his math every day. We did finish our science test, and we're completely done with chapter 4, and we're going to start chapter 5. I had it listed here on Tuesday because the test was so long. It was a 4-page test. They finished up their test on Wednesday, so we didn't end up starting 5.1 in science yet. So we're going to start that on Monday. As far as narrations go, we did not do that at all this week. We did not have time to do our reports on Benedict Arnold, Yorktown, Valmy, and so forth. We're going to have to start that on Monday. And then also we did not update our timeline book in our Book of Centuries. We need to do that first thing on Monday. Otherwise, we completed everything else that I had planned. We did play the Colonies game, which I did post on my channel. The kids loved it. They thought it was so much fun. And they learned the colonies. And they know them now. And there'll be a test later on, probably at the end of the month. I'll test them on which there are 4 different states that are actually combined into 2 different colonies, and there'll be questions such as that on their colonies test, because in April we're going to go right into the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and so that's all going to be about that. So I want to finish out the month of March with all the battles and all the characters that are that were involved in the American Revolution, the main characters anyway, and so that's what I want to finish up in March, and then I want to start Constitution in April. And they did make the colonial pomander balls, so I'm gonna show you. They're drying right now. They made them. My one son, who is very sensitive to textures and smells and different things, he did not care for the smell of the cloves, and so he has quite a few less cloves in his than my other son, but that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna let them dry because the citrus fruits were juicy, and then once they're dried, then we'll put the ribbon on them and hang them up. But I think they smell nice. They didn't bother my other son. So we made those today. We did not get to the New England primer activity that we were going to do, and we did not get to the trades activity I wanted to do. And we're gonna just do those next week. We're just gonna move them ahead. So otherwise, we did quite well. They did do the pistachio pudding science experiment and write a report on changes in matter from the powder to the liquid to the thickening agent that makes that it into pudding. So they did all that. They did that report. And so we got all that done. So I think that we accomplished a lot this week. And that's basically what I do when I, every week is pretty much the same. We try to stay in a schedule every week. And then I'll go back and I will cross out as far as we got. Now, Hunter only has, let's see, he has 4 chapters left in the curious incident of the dog in the nighttime. And Ethan only has, let's see, in Mr. Revere and I, he only has 3 more chapters to read. And then in his other book, because he's reading 2 books right now at the same time, he has 4 chapters left. And then he's done with that book. And then in Hunter's other book, he had just started the other book, and they're short stories about missionaries. So he has only read 4 stories. So he has quite a few chapters left before he's done with that book. He's done 5 lessons in his reports and essays book. So he has quite a few more. And when I start planning this week, then I just write down the week's lessons, like every day he does this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those will get written down on each day. That he's going to do that work. And then here he has 1, 2, 3, 4 days left of this book, and so I will write chapter 197, 199, 111, and 123 because this book is written by a young man that has autism, and he prefers to list his chapters only using prime numbers. So each of the kids, I'm going to list each chapter per day that they're going to read, and then I'm caught up in my mind, and then I can cross them off. And it looks like they're going to be done with quite a few books by the end of this coming week. So this is Hunter's Math. He's all the way down to here. So I will just start right here when I list his math lessons, and then I'll just continue down 5 more lessons for 5 days, and then cross those off at the end of the week. For Ethan, for his math, the same thing. He left off with lesson 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll write down. Looks like he's got a stop and practice test next Friday. So, and then he'll have a few more things to do. And I do list assessments and things like this. When they get to an assessment or a test in their book, I will list it, and that way I can see ahead, oh, they have a test on Friday or whatever it is. So science, since we're starting a new unit, chapter 5, I listed all the units. I listed all the chapter, when there's a review or a test, all that. And then on Post-it notes, what I do is I list any diagrams that they need to draw, because I make them draw the diagrams. It helps them remember whatever the diagram is about. So the first diagram that they're going to do on Monday is the Earth's rotation, and then 2 will be electromagnetic radiation from the sun to the Earth. Number 3 will be microwaves and radio waves, and so forth. Here in our particular science book that we use, which is from Abeka, they do Christian Scientist biography reports. And when we get to that section in the book, then they read all about the famous person, the famous scientist, and then they write a narration report on each person. And in chapter 5, we have Werner von Braun, Ptolemy, Nicholas Copernicus, Johann Kepler, Sir Isaac Newton, which we're already reading a book about him, but there is also a section of their book dedicated to him, and then William and Caroline Herschel. And those are the reports that they're going to do. And if we don't get all of these done by the end of the month, then we just start right back up where we left off. The experiments this month is they're going to make a rocket out of a balloon. They're going to draw ellipses, and they're also going to make a space probe. And so I write all that down on Post-it notes, and then as we complete them, I just take them off. And then I can also cross off the removable, so I can cross off, the lesson in the chapter that they completed. And then here I have Sir Isaac Newton. We got through chapter 9, and so we're going to start up with chapter 10 on Monday. And then with our other books, I just cross them off. We got through chapter 1 on for King and Country, and so we're going to start chapter 2 on Monday. And then in the Book of War, we're all the way down to Siege of Yorktown. So that's where we're going to start on Monday there. Revolutionary War for Kids, we're all done studying about the colonists, and we're going to start with Ben Franklin, and they'll do a character narration on Ben Franklin, and then they'll update their timeline as well. So, and then in English, because we were doing seasonal work, I didn't have anything written in the English section for Ethan, but all I did is I went back to his English book, his regular English book, and then I just wrote down all the lessons and when the assessment was, or the test, and then as he completes it, I'll just cross it off. And then, so these are things that I do at the beginning of the month, and usually it takes about an hour, and that's just 1 hour a month. So it takes me an hour to pull the previous month's out, because these pages come out and then they come back in. You can push them back in. And then I just copy them from one month to the next. And if I have to fill in, then I just grab their book of whatever I need to fill in, and I'll fill it in. And then, and so that I usually do it on a Saturday. So I'll just take 2 hours out of a Saturday. And I know that there are people who have a lot more kids that they're homeschooling than I am. And so taking, or really tiny kids, and taking 2 hours out of the day or an hour out of the day is just crazy. But just being ahead of it all, if you can at least take, you know, and you can break it up if you want. I mean, you could do one subject every day if you have 10 minutes out of every day, you know, and just write down, you know, one subject. You can do that. And with this book, because I only have 2 kids that I'm homeschooling, I put my middle son up here and then my youngest son here, and then our group work here. If you have multiple children, what I would recommend is I would just cover this whole portion with washi tape, and then I would just put your child's name there. So I would use 2 of these pages per day. Like if you have 3 kids, I would use all, well, you could do this for 3 kids, and then just put the, our dogs are going nuts. I take it your friends are here. It's Marvel movie night. Kids are starting to arrive. And our dogs go nuts whenever somebody comes. So if you have 3 kids, you might want to put like child 1, child 2, child 3 all the way across, and then keep the dates on here, and then put any group activities here. And then you can also use this section here where it's Saturday and Sunday. You can use this for group work, or you could, if you had even more children, let's say you have 5 to 7 children, you could cover this up with washi tape, all the dates, and you could put, you know, per child all the way down for the entire week, and just list all the work for each child for the entire week. And that can work that way as well. So this is why I like this planner so much, because it's so versatile and you can just change it in any way to meet your needs. So I'm going to stop right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in everything that I need to fill in, and to complete this coming week's schedule, and then I'll come right back for a few minutes and discuss what I did, give you an overview, and then I'll call this video done. So I will be right back. Hi everybody, I'm back. So I have this week completely filled out of what we're going to do. I started again with Bible copy work and memorization. Then I write Monday through Friday, Christian maturity, Monday through Friday. And where I keep track of that book is on the back, and we've gotten through to lesson 2, and of course they have to ask, or they have questions to answer in Bible that day. So all we'll do on Monday, if we don't get to our Bible memorization, is they actually have questions and answers that they need to answer. We might get to memorization and copy work. I'm not sure. We'll find out how the day progresses and how fast we can get that done. And then for King and Country, we're going to try to get through chapter 2 and 3 this week, because I already counted the pages for chapter 2. And I do that whenever I start a new chapter. I'll count the pages and see how many days it's going to take us to get through it. Chapter 2 is not very long, so hopefully we can get through 2 chapters in 1 week. Isaac Newton, I plan to get through chapter 14 by the end of the week. Here they have daily work and Bible first thing in the morning, so I just write that there. Then they have spelling pre-tests. This, of course, is my middle child. This is my youngest child. This is group. First thing on Monday, with our group work, we're going to update our book of centuries and catch it up because we got behind last week on it. So that's first thing on our list to do. Then they have a Benedict Arnold narration. And then we also have a Science Unit 5.1. And they have 2 diagrams to do that day. And then they also have comprehension check. So then on Tuesday they have their math, which they have every single day, March journal, and basically I give them a story prompt or a personal prompt to fill in. And why I have my kids journal is because once your kids get into like the teenage years, I find out a lot about them through their journaling, what they're thinking about, what they're worried about, what their opinions are, because I don't tell my kids what they should believe and what they shouldn't believe, or political views or anything like that. We don't share those in our family. I mean, we talk about them, like my husband and I will talk about them and they know what our political views are, but I do not force my children to have the same views as I do. And a lot of times I'll pose questions to them and then they will journal about their feelings toward them. Like the last school shooting that was in Florida, right after that happened, I had them journal about what their feelings toward that is on the guns issue and so forth. And it's neither right nor wrong. Whatever they feel is what they feel. And instead of talking about it verbally, sometimes we'll talk about it after they journal. I'll pull them aside like afterwards, and like if something needs clarifying, or if they're not understanding something correctly, then I'll talk to them about it, but I never push my views on them. And journaling is a good way to have your kids voice their opinions on things and be able to feel like they're heard without an argument. So because I want my kids most of all to form their own opinions and form their own views on things, and on religion and politics and so forth. And some are fun too. They're not always like serious, matters. Sometimes I'll just say, write about what you want to write about today, something that's on your mind. Or sometimes I will have a story prompt and a seasonal story prompt or something, and I'll have them, okay, write a story about this, and so then they'll do that. So I mix it up. I don't try to make it too heavy, but I know that I've learned an awful lot about my kids just through reading their journal entries. I know right now that my youngest son, his cat ran away, and he's been concerned about it over the past week because we keep seeing him. We keep seeing the cat, but the cat we've called it and it just looks at us blankly. So I don't know if there's something wrong, that he's confused, or I'm not sure, but it's really strange. But he's been concerned and he wants our cat to come home, and we don't want to frighten it away. I kind of think because he was a barn cat when we got him, that he likes to be outside a lot and he doesn't want to be in the house where our son wants him to be. So, and we kind of live on the outskirts of town, so I worry about him getting killed, but that's what's on his mind right now, and that's what he's been journaling a lot about. So then they have their reading chapters and their English work that they do. And I'm going to move over here where I have piano practice 2 times a day for recital. The recital is the first week of April, their piano recital. And so the their piano teacher wants them to practice 2 times a day, their songs for the recital. And so they normally practice after reading. I will listen to one child read while the other does their English work, and then they do their piano practice. And then I switch, and then the other person does it while the other person is reading. And then, but we added it in another practice after dinner every night. So immediately after they're done eating dinner, then they go and they practice their piano. And we actually have 2 pianos, so that works out pretty well. One in our big living room, and then we also have one in the entryway. So that's what they do in between reading and so forth. Now, the kids are ending quite a few books this week, and after they finish a reading book or a chapter book, like what they're reading, then they do a book report the very next day. And we have a doctor's appointment on Friday, so I am not going to have, Ethan has a book report on one of his books on Friday because he's going to finish it on Thursday, and he's also actually finishing another book on Wednesday. So he's going to do the book report for the book that he finishes on Wednesday. He's going to do that on Friday, and then on Friday I'm going to have him do the book report for this book, but I'm not going to have him start another book. And Hunter actually is going to be done with one of his books. Let's see. No, he'll be done with his book on Friday. So he'll do his book report on one of his books on Monday, and then we'll start a new book. And I'll show you next week when I plan the following week how I record all the chapters in the new book that I'm going to give them, and then I'll show you what books that I chose for them to read next. So, and this is just for school. They do, my middle son loves Star Wars and anything Marvel, and he has lots of novels that are Star Wars novels and Marvel novels, and he'll read those on his own. And Ethan too. Ethan has he loves Minecraft, absolutely loves Minecraft. And I buy him chapter books about Minecraft, and he reads those on his own as well. So, so I think that's it for that. Let's see, what else do I need to discuss? Now, because we're catching up on Monday, and we have nature study. We only have 4 things for our nature study in March because I have a seasonal book, and it tells like the things that they're supposed to draw. I can go over that book sometime with you in another video. But this week they are going to do the American Robin and the Canada Goose, or Canadian Goose. So those are the 2 that they're going to do this week. We usually do nature study on Monday. So I'm going to try to fit it in. If it doesn't get fit in one of these days, if we have a little extra time, we'll do it. Science on Tuesday, we have a biography, Werner von Braun, and then we have a rocket experiment with balloons. Then they have a comprehension check at the end of their unit, or at the end of that lesson. And then I'm going to try to fit in that game that we're going to play this week, the vocabulary game and trade reports for the colonial trades up here that I had right here for vocab, learning a trade. And then this New England primer I have down on Thursday for them to do, because those are carryovers from last week. Then they have their narration and their book of centuries, and here we're going to start up fresh, keeping track of their book of centuries because we're all caught up then, and we're going to go forward there. On Wednesday, the only thing different, we have science. They have diagrams to draw, multi-stage rockets and space shuttle gravity and friction, and then comprehension check. And then they have, we're going to play Spanish alphabet checkers, and I'm going to do a separate video on that, how I use board games and things that we have on hand in an educational way. We play checkers for Spanish, and I'm going to show you how we do that. And then they also have that narration on Thursday, and then or that was Wednesday. And then Thursday, they're going to do Spelling Battleship, and I'm also going to do a separate video on how we play Spelling Battleship. And then they have their math and reading, so forth, all the way down. Their group work, science. They have 2 diagrams, microwave signals, and polar and geostationary orbits. Then they have comprehension check. Then they're going to do the New England primer, Ben Franklin and narration, and then they have piano lessons from 5 to 6. And then on Friday they have their spelling test if they have to take it. They have math, general math, reading, and their English. And then that day we have to leave at 1. And so the only thing that I have planned for group work that day, if we can fit it in, is art. And my original plan was to have them do fractal designs on wood with wood burning. But if we run out of time and they only have a little bit of time, another thing that I was going to have them do is colonial basic stitches, like cross stitches and straight stitches and back stitches and so forth. I wanted to teach them that because boys should know how to do that too. And I'll probably have them learn to sew on a button, because that's important for, if a guy's living and, alone and going to college, he's got to know how to sew on a button if he loses one. So I'm going to do that too. So it depends how much time we have before we have to leave. Otherwise, it'll get moved to the next week. So, well, that's it. That's my schedule for all next week. And I thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope that you will like and subscribe and join our family at Happily a Homeschool Mom. Thanks so much. Bye.